last night. Just I had to pick me up from work because he had that doctor's appointment or whatever. So when we got home, I was like, I'm just going to drop you off. I'm going to go to Aunt Kim's for a while. And so I did that. And I'm at Kim's and I'm telling, because she has everything. Like she'll, yes, normally I'll ask you if you have something. And if you say no, then I ask Aunt Kim or vice versa.
I love it.
I know. So, and she has this little, this dog is this big, okay?
Oh, okay.
It's like a cat size. I can pick it up with one hand for sure. But I was like, I'm just going to ask her if she has a dog crate that would fit Indy, because she's fucking chewed on my trim, Katie. I don't even want to talk about it. I still haven't accepted it, but so anyway, I said, do you have a dog crate that's probably like this big that my small to medium sized dog would fit in?
Yeah.
She's like, yes, I do. I'm like, damn.
How do you get so lucky?
I am always so lucky. So
did she have a tiller?
No, she doesn't have a tiller, but she said her son had his garden tilled somehow, and she was going to find out how. So,
okay.
But, so we look at the one that she has in the house, and I'm like, you think you have one a little bigger than that? Still thinking, like, how greedy can I be? Like, no, I don't really like this one. Do you have?
This isn't quite. I need the next level.
But she says, yes, I do have the next size up. So, her garage is detached, and it's like behind her house.
Okay.
But still like in her driveway.
Yeah.
So she's like, it's in my garage, so we got to go up to the garage. And I'm like, okay. So we go out in the garage, and she flips on the light. And I'm telling you, I'm like shopping anywhere. Because there's just cool stuff everywhere. And she's like, okay, here's this dog crate, the other one that I have, and it's perfect size.
Okay.
But I said...
You got one in blue?
No, I said that is perfect size, but you think you have one bigger?
Stop, you said it again? Okay, now, at this point, I would have been like, damn, Amy.
She puts up with me. So she's like, maybe, but it'd be up in the attic. We got to go up in the attic. And so we start to walk over that way, and we notice that the light in the attic is on.
Is it the dog?
No, there's no the dog's in the house. And she's like, why is that attic light on? Instantly, I'm freaked out. I just got a bad feeling, and I always go with my feelings. Like, there is someone up there living in your attic that you don't know about.
That's a thing.
Yes! I was convinced. And so we're both just kind of standing there, and I'm thinking, is she going to go up them stairs? And then I just kind of take a deep breath, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go up there. She goes, be careful, the stairs are kind of funny. And they're really steep. It's not quite like a ladder, but it's not exactly like steps either. So as I'm going up, she says, there's the light switch. And she points to like right above my head. And for some reason that freaked me out.
I wish I could have been there to just be a fly on the wall even. I don't even need to be a part of it.
So I'm trying to get the hell back down those stairs.
You're like, put it in reverse.
And she's standing right there. And I'm like falling on her and everything. And she literally goes, calm down.
Get her.
And something about it made me calm down. And I was like, okay. And then I'm still like, my heart's like beating out of my chest thinking, does she just want me to be killed quietly? Or she just knows something?
No, she's in on it.
And then we stand there for a few minutes and she goes, oh, never mind, that light's not on. It's because the garage door is open. That's
all of that for nothing.
So we did all of that for nothing.
I can just seriously picture you being like, you're already on one because you're like, this dog crate? No, I need a better one. No, a better one. Bring me all the dog crates in the land.
Leave them all out for me.
So you're already all hyped up, and then she's like, calm down. And it just like snaps you back.
It did. I was so scared for a minute. Oh my gosh.
Man.
It is,
And then she's like, wait a second. False alarm.
False alarm. You're not going to die. Okay, let me get logged on to the internet.
To see another day.
Oh, I went home after that. I was like, I got to go home and take a sleeping pill. I'm amped up.
You're like, this is enough for me.
The neighbors are probably like, what are those two old ladies doing over there? Ay, ay, ay. It was just a weird night. I was already freaked out because I said, I'm going to go out to my car to get my charger because my phone was almost dead. And she's in the kitchen and she goes back to the back part of the house and I go out the back door and go out to my car. This is before the dog crate stuff. And when I go to get back in, the door's stuck. I can't get in.
So first she won't let you in, then she wouldn't let you out.
Yes. And my phone and everything was in there. I literally started jumping up in the window. I'm like, I should have went home. I've lost it.
She said.
Okay. All right. Let's get into it. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Today we're going to talk about Aaron. What is his last name?
Quinn.
Aaron Quin and Denise Huskins.
Yes. Yeah.
Who were the victim of a crime in 2015. And there's a documentary on Netflix about it called American Nightmare. And I don't know that I would have watched this if we hadn't talked about it because it's so weird. I remember in 2015 when this happened.
Okay.
Kind of just ignoring it.
Yeah, I kind of remember it being like a news story, but nothing that was like big enough to catch my attention.
Yeah, I can remember it popping up like couple fakes, crime.
Yes, yeah.
And everybody's like, eye roll. There'd been some other things kind of going on. And then it felt like 2 days later, a news conference but it was much longer. It was like 4 months later, I think. That's like, nope, they weren't lying. It was all true. They were the victim of a crime. And I still was like, but when I learned all of the details.
It's wild.
Oh my God.
And I understand. So, Denise and Aaron are together as a couple and they go to bed after a night of discussing their relationship, after a night of having a couple of drinks. Of course, all of the things that would set him up to look like the perfect abuser or murderer or kidnapper or whatever they were trying to call him. But then to be woken up.
Oh my gosh. But their discussion that night was a problem in their relationship because he had admittedly been texting his ex-fiance.
Who all three work together.
When I learned that,
I'm like,
oh God.
Can you imagine working with your ex?
No, especially a fresh ex. I could probably work with an ex now.
Yeah.
And be like, we went out? I'll just play dumb.
Right. What about your ex and your ex's new girlfriend?
Oh, that just feels wrong.
That feels very wrong. I wouldn't want to work.
No. Somebody's got to get a new job. And I'm staying. And one of you two.
I would say both of you. I want to work with my ex's new girlfriend or with my ex.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I mean, if I was the current girlfriend, Denise. I'm saying you two.
Yes.
So going to bed, hashing that out. He says, I'm not going to message her anymore.
And they're like, okay, things are cool.
Yeah, we've got it settled now. Good night.
Good night. And then they got a peaceful rest.
No. No, they
for
did
about
not.
2 hours.
Oh my gosh. They are awoken by what they described as laser lights or like strobe lights and then are forced to drink NyQuil.
By somebody that is in a wetsuit. The detail of the wetsuit, the person committing this crime had to think to themselves, the police are going to think that this sounds so far-fetched that it's a lie.
I wondered if that was his motivation.
I mean, why else would you choose a wetsuit?
Because then he puts blacked out goggles on them, like swim goggles with masking tape, not masking tape, duct tape, masking tape. I can still see.
You're just a little blurry, but I can see you.
This is clear tape, sir. Okay, sorry. And then puts headphones on them.
Yeah.
With music. I would be okay, you want to talk about I was scared last night coming down the attic stairs? I think that would kill me. I'd be so scared.
I mean, yes, I would agree. To be woken up in the middle of the night, have all of your senses taken away, basically. And now you're forced to drink NyQuil, like you said.
My allergies feel great!
But it was also mixed with a sedative, so they're also fearful. They can't see, they can't hear, and they start to fall asleep.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't fall asleep fast enough. I'd be like, sir, grab my Ambien. This is not working.
If you want the real stuff, it's over there.
I would want to be, I mean, I don't know. You really wouldn't because, okay, so they do that.
Yeah.
And Aaron kind of quickly goes unconscious. And when he wakes up the next day, Katie, there is a camera pointing at him. He's taped off where he can go and where he cannot go. And then how did they leave the instructions for him for what to do? Or was it an email he got or something?
How did they leave the instructions? I remember that he said that they took off the headphones at one point to let them know they're putting up a camera.
Oh my
I couldn't
God.
see them doing that, obviously. But I don't remember how they had said they were going to leave the instructions, but they were going to take Denise. Because that's why they need instructions, because they are kidnapping a grown adult woman, which, first of all, kidnapping an adult you don't hear of. I was thinking about that last night. Like, how often do you hear of a grown adult being kidnapped?
I think they call it an abduction.
Why were they calling it a kidnapping the whole time?
I guess because there was a ransom attached to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So Aaron wakes up. But, I mean, if you're coming off of a sedative, you don't just wake up like you do every other day and go to work and you feel fine. He's still, like, in and out and confused, and where's his girlfriend? And there's cameras pointing at him.
That say, if we're watching you, if you contact the police or go outside of this line, what I think we'll kill.
Yeah, I think so.
Denise. So what would you do? What would you do if that was you and they said, we have your loved one and we're going to kill them if you don't follow our instructions? Exactly.
I would follow their instructions.
Yes.
I would follow their instructions.
Especially when you look up and there's a camera
staring at you. Because I kind of, at the same, when I was watching it and he was telling the story, I was wondering, like, did he take his blindfold off and see that there was a camera, or did they just say, because you know the camera's so small now.
Oh, yeah.
You could never know, but the way they showed it did look like they put a physical camera up in the corner. I would, if I think I'm being watched, yeah, I would do whatever I'm told.
Yeah. So that's what he does.
He does.
He gets an email asking for, I believe, $12,000 ransom. Mm-hmm. So he calls his bank to see how much he can get in advance for. And his bank gets back to him and says, like, $3,500.
Yeah.
So he emails them back. This is very corporate. Emails them back and says, the bank will only let me get out like a quarter of the amount that you want. And then they never respond back.
Not in time.
Not in time, you're right. So he finally says, I don't know what else to do. I've got to call 911.
Gosh, at that point, how long do you wait? Because, you know what I mean? Like, are they sitting at the other end of the phone just waiting for him to respond? And then he's just sitting here how long, what time frame would you give it before you eventually say, I have to go? Like, I can't wait any longer.
I mean, probably at least a few hours.
I mean, I would think so.
At least. I mean, I don't know. I might have waited a whole nother day.
Okay, yes. If it's your loved one.
Yeah.
If you feel like their life is on the line, yes, I would agree.
So imagine that 911 call, and they're like, 911, where's your emergency? And then you are on the other line.
Still groggy.
I was attacked by a man in a wetsuit who put earphones on me and took my girlfriend.
When? When did they take your girlfriend?
Hell if I know. I've been drinking and forced to take pills. So it does sound funny.
It does sound funny. It does. But at the very beginning, starting with the 911 phone call, the woman on the other end of the line says, "Why did you wait so long to call?" Why? Immediately they are starting with
that narrative.
You are the problem. Yeah. And they don't even know the situation.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. When I was watching the documentary on Netflix of the interrogation that they were putting Aaron through.
That was bad.
Oh my gosh. I kept thinking the whole time, how would I react if I'm really innocent and the police are looking at me and they're saying, your story doesn't add up. That's not what happened. I mean, you just have to say lawyer, 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 lawyer.
Yeah.
But then nothing's happening. They're not looking for her.
He did. I did. I think that he said everything correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously no right or wrong, but I kind of thought the same thing. Like, what would I think or how would I react? But every reaction he gave, it's just that the story is so wild that makes it seem like it's not true. But he immediately, what did he say, I think, after the detective was questioning Aaron gave him the entire story, and then the detective said, well, how do I make it look like you did this? Literally the exact sentence. How do I flip it to make it look like this was you? Who? What?
I'd be like, you don't. No, I don't want that. I don't want that story. But also, you're being questioned like that. Your girlfriend is freaking with a wetsuit monster somewhere. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So eventually, they have to let him go to get a lawyer. And then I guess now we talk about, while Aaron is going through that, what Denise is going through. Because I have so much respect for her.
I know.
I watched her tell that story, and the details of what she went through, and I'm like, God, every part of my body wanted to be like, ew, no.
Right. So I, researched and read through some articles about this couple, and saw a lot of stuff on Facebook, especially when this first came out, because this is a fairly new special. And almost everybody in the comments was like, I almost immediately thought she was lying. And I'm watching this thing, and I don't understand how you could, when she's telling her story, think that this woman is lying.
I know. She's very strong and stoic, which is a neat quality. She's like got her emotions under control. But at one point, the kidnappers tell the kidnapper, she only really interacts with one, because they thought there were two originally, tells her, we need to show proof of life. So I want you to say your name, I want you to say a personal detail about yourself, and then I want you to tell this current event so they know this isn't pre-recorded. And she does sound very flat. She does.
Like, she doesn't sound scared. She doesn't sound happy. She doesn't sound like anything.
Like, it's like us on our Teams meeting.
Yeah.
Like,
just like they were
here. I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see? Well, I think it might have been towards the end, so I might be jumping ahead a little. But did you see the second person that was with him?
Yes. Yes, I did.
I'm obviously not a criminal.
Is it so obvious?
Is it? Or am I?
Exactly. That sounds like something a criminal would say.
Only criminals would know what criminals
say. That's true. That's true.
I would, as a criminal, be too scared to fake my accomplice. All it takes is 1 second for one of them to be like, I can see that there's one of you.
Hey, that second guy is just a blow-up doll with a mask on.
We can take him down. Like, I would, as a criminal, again, I would be too scared to fake my accomplice.
I've never thought of even.
I mean, either like, this is my friend Juniper.
Yes, I've never even thought about it. I really could use a second person here. So I'm just gonna buy one.
On the next episode of the podcast, it'll be you, and then in this chair, a blow-up doll
with a mask. So that was another thing. When the police got the proof of life,
yeah,
it just sounded so cold, and so like you would expect a kidnapped victim to be like, "Oh my God, Mom, I love you," or
right.
I'm still alive. Keep looking, but none of that.
Or at least sound like they're crying, maybe, or
scared. But what we got to keep in mind is he continually kept her drugged and sedated.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a flat tone because she was drugged.
I mean, it's all she had to give.
But this monster would bring her food, water, routine bathroom breaks, very consistent, like she said, courteous, kind. And the first thing he said to her when they got to the room where he was keeping her is, "This wasn't even supposed to be for you."
And to this day, correct me if I'm wrong, there's still not a reasoning as to why it was supposed to happen to
Andrea,
Aaron's
ex-fiance, the one they had just been beefing about.
Right.
I'd be so pissed.
I would be too.
I'd be like, you and your exes.
Just take her back right now because I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with this guy now, apparently. Right. Oh, that's a terrible joke. But yeah, I'd be so pissed.
Like, I want to know why still.
Yeah, me too.
Like what the point was, but yeah.
I felt like I had heard, and this is just like off of a Reddit thread or something, that she was into gambling maybe or something. And that might have been why somebody was going to have her kidnapped. But that doesn't track with this guy, this pervert story. So we'll get to him here in a minute. But then, like late the first day, is it late the first day that he has her? Because he has her for like a day and a half.
Yes.
This monster comes in there and says, "We have a problem. We don't have..." Like people are telling him what to do from higher up.
Yeah, and he's telling her that he's the nice one.
Mm-hmm.
To just do what he says because he's the nice one and they're the mean ones.
And in order to let her go, they're going to have sex on camera. And that way she can't go to the police or go to anybody because then they'll release it. And you can imagine she wants to puke.
Right. To say the least, I mean.
But her strong will to just survive and to conquer, she's like, "This isn't going to break me. Mm-hmm. He's going to do it, whether I'm compliant or not."
Yeah. So
she gets through it. But then the worst part is, he comes back later and says, "That wasn't good enough because of the goggles. We've got to make it look like you're into it. So I'm just going to put clear tape over your eyes so it just looks like your eyes are shut. And you have to be into it." And I feel so bad for her.
I mean, to have it happen once. I mean, to have it happen 3 times already. She's been assaulted twice prior to this man to being abducted. Now he's already assaulted her once, and now he's coming back to say, "You have to like it."
Oh, God, it's disgusting.
I don't know how she did it. I don't know how anybody would do it in that situation, but, oh, yeah.
She was just determined she was gonna stay alive. And I mean, that's what you do. You're supposed to like try to be human to your, if you're ever in that situation where you could be hurt, talk about yourself and, just kind of go with the flow. You do what you have to do to survive. And that's definitely what she did. But then it's like he just decides, "Sorry, we're good. I'm gonna let you go."
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go now. But not only let you go, I'm going to drive you. This is what he just does, the weirdest shit. That's why they don't believe this is real. I'm going to drive you to your dad's house and let you out.
Yeah, he said the police presence was too large in Vallejo, where you're from, or where you live currently.
Yeah.
So let me take you 400 miles away. What?
So he lets her out.
That's it. Then she's just...
And I've seen the video footage of her walking up to her dad's, like, on a ring cam. She's got sunglasses on. Yeah. She just looks like, out walking my dog or something, you know, just very casual. But again, she's sedated. And she's probably in shock. Like, oh my God, I'm outside. I did live. I'm out of there. But also she's got the threat of this tape. He says he can get to her family. He can get to Aaron. We already know. He ended up in that house, no problem. And 911 is called because her dad's not home.
Right. I think a neighbor
saw
her trying to get in or something and was like, how can I help? But of course, then the cops want to talk to her. Like, what do you... So she's been abducted. We get this wild story. In the meantime, the police have said Aaron's guilty.
Yeah.
He did this.
She's dead. They thought she was dead.
Yeah. Not even willing to look into anything that he said. It was just immediately, you did this. Maybe you got a little angry. Maybe this was about your ex. Maybe it was an accident, but this is your fault. And now suddenly here she is.
Yeah. Well, and then it comes out later that the kidnapper called Aaron's phone while he was with the police.
Twice.
That was traceable.
Right, directly to, I think it said 200 feet within the front door or something.
Oh, they almost cost her life. I mean, to not even keep the phone on, what would it have hurt to have somebody monitor his phone?
Literally.
Where were we? The police want to talk to her.
So the police put her like, Denise,
we got some questions.
Where you been?
And they think she's an attention whore. She tells them, I've been sexually assaulted. I was told not to tell, or this tape would go public. And her lawyer says she needs to get a sexual assault response team or
something like that.
Basically a rape kit. And they said, after she answers all these questions.
What? To me, it is just like, as the police, I imagine, obviously I'm not a cop, just like I'm not a criminal.
Sounds like something a cop would say.
There is a procedural, shouldn't you, I mean, he gives me one lead, I follow that lead. And if it pans out to nothing, I follow the next
right!
lead. Even if it sounds like the most outrageous thing in the world, don't you think it's still your responsibility to follow up on said leads? I
mean, there was a whole camera hanging in his house.
Right.
They couldn't have, tried to track that or see nothing.
Instead, it's, you did it. And then, she's alive? Oh, well, then you did it. Like, are they just too lazy?
So, basically, after this, they're not believed by the police. They both have to leave their jobs because they're not even sure if they're welcome at their job. The police do a news conference that just assassinates.
It's terrible.
Their character assassinates, especially Denise.
Yes.
Who has been victimized horribly. Just calling it a hoax, a fake. She wasted resources. She is just the worst person in the world.
I think at the end of the special, it was said that the police chief told, I don't know, maybe the lead detective, whoever went out to talk to the press, right before he said about Denise, he said, burn that bitch. Like,
yes.
What? You are the chief of police. You shouldn't you at least
it's
see if she's
so
okay? I don't get it.
Again, I'm putting myself in her position, like, you trust the police to help you. Well, you should be able to. I mean, in a situation like that, that's the only person I can call. Right. I've been kidnapped.
Who else is
going to help me? And then they don't. They call you a liar. You can't go to work. People are commenting on all social media.
Yes.
What a terrible awful person you are. You should die. Like, terrible. And they're hiding out. They can't even go to their house. So they're taking turns staying at like their parents' houses. And months go by. Several months go by.
But wait, I think we left out a part.
Okay, tell me.
Unless you were getting ready to go to that. Because so she has come home. The police are questioning her. And it's going out into the news that it's a hoax. They made this up. Gone Girl. You know.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
And so there is a news article or several that are working this story when one of the writers gets an email from the last person that you would expect. But to me, this would make the story seem plausible and say, hey, maybe we should start investigating this, because what kidnapper emails photos of their weapons and says, Denise Huskins and Aaron Quin are telling the truth. I truly did abduct her.
Yeah, what in the world?
But then he's like still hiding. He just anonymously emails them?
Yeah. Confessing.
And but the police still think it's a hoax.
They probably think
just like,
they did that.
Yeah, big deal.
That's from Denise.
Right. She's clearly done it once. What's going to stop her?
So then there is another, and maybe you have her name, a police officer in another town that's investigating an attempted abduction. Mm-hmm. And the father and the abductor ended up like getting into it. And the father kind of got the best of him. And he runs off. But he drops... Does he leave his phone?
He left it. It was like...
I'm like, did I do that?
Lead! He left his phone!
Oh my god.
He left his phone and dropped duct tape, zip ties, and then, I don't remember, where did they find the goggles?
I think by the fence that he hopped or whatever.
Dropped those as well. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they get the phone number of this phone, and then they figure out who the plan subscriber is. Mm-hmm. They call her, and they say, hey, we have found this phone, and we want to return it to the owner. Do you know whose phone number this is? And she says, yeah, that's my son's phone. And they're like, great! We want to deliver this right now.
Literally.
Do you know where he's at? And then she says, yeah, he's at my lake house. Here's the address.
And Lake Tahoe. And vacationing.
Yeah, he's just on vacation. So they haul ass to get there because they don't want her to be like, hey, the cops found your phone, honey. Yeah. Luckily he doesn't have a phone.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah. But in the meantime, they're researching him. Tell me why this man is an attorney. And what else?
Ex-military and a Harvard law graduate. What? This was straight out of, the whole time I'm watching it was straight out of Law and Order.
Yes.
Straight out. It's like one of those multi-episode serial.
Mm-hmm. It's all so unbelievable.
From the calling and emailing to confess, I'm like, yes, that was in fact me. Good luck trying to catch me. Best wishes.
Yeah. They find out. So this still isn't tied to Denise and Aaron yet. They're just investigating this attempted abduction. But when they get there to arrest him and they go through his things, that's when they find his fake accomplice in the duffel bag. They just like, who's this guy? We want to take you downtown for questioning.
And these are different police than the Vallejo police because he was 40 miles away, I think it said. So can you imagine just being like, what's this guy into?
Yeah, when you start pulling out dummies, duct tape. I mean, he's got a whole abduction kit. with those goggles. Like, they're like, this is not his first rodeo. And inside those goggles is a single long blonde hair, which we've not described Denise, but she's very beautiful and she has long blonde hair. So they're like, we need to figure out who this victim was. And did she make it? Is she somewhere?
Misty. The police officer's name is
Misty. Okay.
And when she saw that hair, she was not, she saw the hair, and then I think they, she ended up being one of the lead detectives on the case and went and saw his setup at his house where he was not. He wasn't there, I don't think. And she was like, something's not adding up. This blonde hair, one singular string has to belong to somebody. And she was determined to figure out who.
Oh.
So they live, Denise and Aaron, they live on Mare Island.
Okay.
And once they had located where Matthew was staying in Lake Tahoe, and, they got, all of his stuff in his house, but then they found the car outside, which was very similar to what Denise had described.
Oh, yeah.
And it had, addresses typed into the GPS.
Yes!
And so she was like, oh, well, I'm gonna head there. I'm gonna start looking for clues. And I can't remember if it was a college student or another police officer or what, but somebody said she was describing this man to another person. Somebody says, that sounds like the Mare Island Creeper. And she was like, what? And this person was peeping through people's windows. He was just doing all kinds, just exactly what you would expect the Mare Island Creeper to do. Any creeping, he was on it.
I just pictured turning the corner and he's like,
just creeping.
No, it's not funny. If he looked through my windows, it'd be the last time. He'd be like, I'm going home. Damn, lady, what? Get some sun. Oh. But yes, they showed that white Mustang that he had stolen. The screen on the GPS, literally, it was just a confession. What? It was address of where he had dropped her off at her dad's.
Yes.
Where he had gotten her from, the drive to the beach house or the lake house. Yeah. Yes, that's how they got him. That's how they got him. And then Denise and Aaron get a call that says, we've caught him. We figured it out. And she's in shock.
I would have no words.
No words.
I would have been like, caught who?
I thought it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. I would have been like, oh, really?
Our sarcastic asses. Oh, really? That's funny. I don't remember him when I kidnapped myself.
They'd eventually be like, you want us to let him go or
right.
not?
Shut up.
Is this him or not?
Oh, my gosh. And then it shows him on camera. Like, I don't know if he's going into the jail or going into a court date or whatever, but it's kind of like the first time that you see him. He looks like a regular person. I mean, he just looks like a regular person, but I, again, Denise did such a good job of telling this story. I was so invested in her. Like, I felt like I was her for that moment. And just what it must have felt like to see the person that violated you like that and have to face them feet away.
Right.
In a courtroom.
She came up with a really good statement. Obviously, I couldn't repeat it back, but she did make a statement in court to where he could hear, and she repeated it again. I'm sure she probably has it memorized on the special, and it was very well thought out, and she held herself together very well, even when she was saying it again. And
yeah, she's really, really tough. I mean, her and Aaron both, I can't even imagine. I would have thought she would have gotten back home. The bad guy's caught. The bad guy is getting sent away for a long time, that they would have just broken up. That would have just been too traumatic.
Yes, 100%.
Like, I don't even want to. I'm never spending the night with you again.
No,
that was the worst night of my life. But that's not what happened.
They didn't. Yeah, they went on to get married. They had 2 little girls.
Yes, they're so cute, too.
She talked a lot about being really strong for both of her girls and teaching them, like, when to speak up and, like, make sure you're doing the right thing. And they did end up suing the Vallejo Police Department, I believe, or the city, and settled out of court for a little over $2 million.
Yes, I like that for them.
I love that for them.
And I hope they made a chunk off the Netflix special, too.
Me too.
I mean, there's not enough money in the world to ever give them that sense of security back.
I hope that the city has really reevaluated, maybe is the word I want to use, because I saw that same year the detective that was in charge of their case won detective or police of the year. What he was like voted number 1 or something. So I hope they really did like.
Oh, one thing too. Yeah, me too. And that made me think of one thing we didn't mention either is the lead FBI agent in the case.
David Sesma.
Special Agent Sesma.
Yeah.
Was the ex-boyfriend of no other than Andrea.
If I was in Denise's position, the moment I learned that information would be the last time I ever trusted the police.
I wouldn't even talk to him anymore.
No, never. Because that seems really fishy. In the beginning, Matthew had told them that he was with somebody or with a group of people that work on the black market or something. And then it was just like never brought up again. But, you know, things are so intertwined. It always just makes me wonder, like, what else is there to it?
Interesting.
So.
Well, unless you feel like we've told you enough, then no need. But otherwise, if you want more, go check out the Netflix 3-part special, American Nightmare.
Yes.
We loved it.
It was great.
And thank you for watching What's the Vibe with Katie and Amy. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. The end.
The end.